Okay, here we are back inside Matrix Gold. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if it's useful and helpful, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Share the video as well. If you're new to the channel, I really appreciate you stopping by. I hope you find the video useful and helpful. Return viewers, thanks so very much. And subscribers, again, humbled to the max. Uh, had a request for doing a signet ring or an award ring, not really a signet ring, some kind of an award ring or a champion ring, however you want to call them. So today that's what I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to show you, there's several different ways, of course, always, but I'm going to show maybe the easiest way probably. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is go to tools and get a ring rail, right? So we'll bump that up to size American USA 11. Men's ring, right? Usually, not always, and we'll go ahead and take that. And now, if you have Matrix 3, you're able to get the upgrade to 3.2. So you'll have the Signet Advanced, and you'll have the Signet. We're going to go ahead and just use the Signet Advanced, and we'll click on that, and it'll give us our Signet ring out there, right? And we'll give that some shading. And right away, I'm just going to drag that up just a little bit around there, something like that. And let's see, we can manipulate it over here. You can change to the top. We will do that. We'll just go ahead to this style here and hit select for this demonstration. And we'll keep it, yeah, we'll just go ahead and keep it something like that. You can also change the shank around, make it thicker or however you want. To make it. We'll just keep it something like this. And then I'm going to go back to my 4 viewports, and I'm going to hold down shift and kind of drag this over so I can just kind of get a good look at my edge there. And same thing with this one here. I want to drag it over to the side because we're going to do a little manipulation here. We're going to go grab our profile editor, and we're going to go in here. All right, and I'll drag this over so I can kind of keep an eye on all this. Hold down shift, move it down a little. So we can kind of watch this edge right here is what we want to kind of play with. So right away we'll go ahead and just say this is fine, but you can manipulate this however you want. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get a add corner point, and I'm going to click there, and it says to select my curve, and I'm going to select my curve, and then where do I want to place it, right? So I'm going to place it somewhere somewhere right around in here perhaps, and then I'm going to take this and just drag it over, right? And you can see it update. We have the nice little U shape there, which is not what we want. And I'm going to take this one and drag it over, and this one and drag it over, right? So it gives us that nice little lip. And actually I'm going to try and delete that one, and I'm going to delete that one and just keep this one. All right, and make that nice little lip. Maybe not so pronounced there. Let's drag it down a little. Yeah, maybe up a little. Just kind of get it to where you want. You want that kind of like degree going in is what you want. So this is kind of what we're getting here, right? And you can play around with this however you want. But we'll just go ahead and accept this and say this is okay. And we'll click on this here. You can also save that to your library so you don't have to keep going back in there and redoing all that stuff. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our top, and we're going to scroll down here to the bottom, pull push, and we'll just go ahead and click that on, and it gives us our nice little indentation there. And you can adjust this how deep you want it, and everything else, the rail sizes and all that. We're just going to go ahead and leave that there just make it easy and quick for us. And then we're just going to go ahead and hit enter. So we have our ring out there, right? And now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over and take all my yellow and turn it to gray and hide it. I don't want it to get it in the way. So we have all this out here. Next thing I'm going to do is go to my curves. I'm going to go to extract ISO curve, and it'll drop it out there, and we can get a good look to see where we want it, somewhere maybe perhaps around here. something like that, and we'll just accept that. And then I'm going to go and right click, bring it back in to grab another ISO curve, and we'll take it up to around there. So we have a nice little opening there, right? And we'll just go ahead and hit enter. Okay, and now I'm going to take my surface of my ring, and I am going to split it with those two curves right here, and hit enter. Okay, now I have this, right, split. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to go to my surface menu, and I'm going to go to offset. I'm going to click on offset, and I'm going to check my command line, make sure the direction's going the right way, and it's not. We don't want it out, we want it in. So we're going to click that to flip them. And then I'm also going to make sure that this solid here is to yes. And that'll just give me the entire indentation that we're looking for. So make sure that's hit to yes, all right? And then hit enter. Okay, and now you can see it made those cuts, and the whole thing is just now solid, right? So right away, we'll just go over and we will explode it. And we'll take that surface and turn it to gray. And we will take that surface and turn it to gray because we really don't need those surfaces, right? And let's see. Okay, those are two different surfaces, which is not going to be good. And the reason being is because if I was to draw an ISO curve around here, it would only take from that one surface. It wouldn't go all the way around, right? And then also the surface, when I go to put my lettering on, I have to select my surface to put the lettering on, right? And it would only give me, it would let me choose both those, but it could jack up the lettering and make it go in different directions. So what we need to do is we need to try and make this into a NURB surface instead of a poly surface. So what we'll do is we'll go to, I think it's edit tools, merge perhaps, and we'll take this surface and this surface, right click, and this surface. Okay, it's not letting us, so let's go to merge edge. No, let's see, let's go back here, let's try match. Let's take this untrimmed. Okay, so they're trimmed, it's not going to let us. So if I type in what, it'll tell us that it's a trimmed surface. It's a NURB surface, but it's only one, right? It's not two. We need one surface. So this isn't going to work for us. So be cautious of that. Now there's all kind of things we could try here. I'm surprised. Let's try that again. Oh, it's trimmed. It won't work. Okay, so let's take this surface, delete it. Take this surface, delete it right away. Okay. Now let's go to our curves, and let's go to from object, and we will dupe some edges here. Get these edges all nice and duped. Okay, so that did that one, and let's go up here and do this one here and this one here, and that did that one. We'll hit enter and we'll join those together, right? Join those together. Okay, 4 curves joined into 2 closed curves, which is what we want. Okay, now they still are poly curves. So meaning they're two. So if I did that surface sweep again, or loft or whatever, it'd still give me 2 surfaces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my edit tools, and I'm just going to go to the fit to tolerance and hit enter, and then enter again. And that should give me a NURBS curve. So let's take that curve, type in WHAT, T, and hit enter. And oh no, it gave me a periodic NURBS curve, which is probably not going to work. It will still give me that. Hit what here? Yep. But let's go ahead and give it a try so you can kind of see what's going on here. And then we'll go back and do something else here. So let's see. We'll take that. We'll change those to yellow. We'll take that and that curve. get rid of that surface and change it to yellow, and we'll turn it to yellow. So we have those two yellow out there. Now I'm pretty sure this is not going to work, but let's try. So I'll go from here to here, to that curve there. Where's it at? There. And we'll do a sweep. And we'll take this one, and we'll take this one, and we'll take that and hit enter. Okay, and enter again. And we'll check this out, see what it is. What? Valid NURB surface. So we might be okay. All right. So let's take this curve just to check it. Let's take it and try to explode it. Cannot explode into single surface. So that means it's a NURBS curve. So we're fine. Actually, it worked. Okay, cool. Next thing we'll do is we'll go back to our curves menu, and we will do another extract ISO curve. And we will try right there in the center, and we want to make sure that kind of disappears like that. That means it's right in the center, and hit enter. And then we'll take that curve, go to our tools, and go to text on curve. And it'll ask us to select our curve. And okay, so it started our text command, and there's MatrixGold right there. And whatever you type in here will show up on there. So we'll just type my channel name, Don's Jewelry Making and Japan Travels. Okay, and then we'll hit enter. Okay, so there's our text out there, and it doesn't go all the way around, which is fine for now. And first thing I'm going to do is change it to bold. The bold will just give you a little bit better for when it's printed. It'll make it a little nicer. If you look at the lettering, if I go to here, it's a lot thinner, right? So if you do the bold, it'll give it a little bit more meat, and the printing process will be much easier. Now I'll come down here to the very bottom. It says flip horizontal, flip vertical. We'll go ahead and flip horizontal. And I have not chose my surface yet, so let's make sure we do that and hit enter, and everything should line up. So everything's out there, right? Now, some of you might be saying, well, why don't you just extract that, lay it down, and put it out there and do a auto base and flow on, flow, right? Well, the reason being is because you can see the lettering is really nice, straight, and everything. If you did a flow, flow on surface, smart flow, what it does is it changes everything to the curvature of everything, so the lettering would be distorted, and you could try it. It can be destroyed. You say, well, you can go up there and click on rigid, right? Well, that doesn't always work either, but this is just probably what I found to be the fastest way. So here we are so far. Now you can control a lot of things here, like the lettering's pretty far out there, right? So you can drop that down, font depth, and we'll take that down to about 5, maybe 6, 5, yeah, that looks okay. And of course you can also adjust the size. Be careful, you get too high and it'll do some crazy stuff on you, but we'll adjust. There we go. There we go. Okay. And you can also adjust the letter spacing. So you have to have a certain tolerance between each letter, right? I think it's like a 0.3. I'm not sure exactly, but I think it's around there. But this is a 0.1. It's still got a little good gap in there, but we'll go ahead and try bump it up 1 here. Yeah, there we go. And it looks much better, right? And we have a little bit too much space in there, but it's not so bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find out where I think maybe I want, like maybe right here, jewelry, right before making and after making, a little bit more space. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to click right in there, and I'm just going to click right there, and then I'll kind of use my arrow key to move in front of it, and then just give it another space there, and then we'll hit enter and see what it looks like. So it gave me a little space here, and it gave me a little bit extra space there, and it brought those a little closer together. And still, it's a little bit too much, so maybe one in Japan, around Japan, perhaps. So let's click right in there and do a little space, and we'll do a little space right in front of travels and see what that looks like, and hit enter. And see how it moved those, give me a little space, and it closed up that gap, and now it looks more presentable and correct and everything, right? So that's how you can get your lettering, or whatever, champion of the world, track and field, baseball, rugby, soccer, whatever you want, your lettering on there. And again, you can adjust those sizes, but this is kind of how the easiest way that I've found to put up those lettering. So then we'll just go ahead and hit enter. We'll say that looks great, right? We'll take this and we'll turn it to here, change it to that color so we can kind of keep an eye on everything. So far what we have is a ring with some lettering on it. And now you can put, Harley Davidson, skulls, or any kind of design in here, right? But what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of the video, is just real quick, I'm just going to use something out of my Clayu library. So I'm going to go to my library, and there's a medical thing here, I think it is, and I'll just go ahead and select that. And we'll close that out, and there it is. And as you can see, it's in the box mode, right? So we need to open up our Clayu, and we'll just go ahead and hide our ring for a second, hide our lettering, and our yellow and our ring rail. So we'll just have this out here. So I'm going to select all this, and I'm just going to click it so that it makes it nice and smooth, right? So there it is, right? Now what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and just convert this to NURB surface. So I'm just going to select everything, and I'm going to convert to NURBS. And for this video, I'm just not going to keep the Clayu, but you can. Do you want to delete the original objects? Yes, I want to. But most of the time, you definitely want to keep the first one. That way you can go back and make any kind of alterations, right? So now I have a NURB surface out here, closed poly surface. So I'll turn back on my ring, and that's the orange, it's cutting layer, okay. And I'll go to my top viewport, turn on my gumball, and I'll just drag that down to a size that I think is okay. And of course it's too thick there, so we'll kind of thin it out a little bit, and then we'll just kind of drag it up to the top of our ring, somewhere around here, and you can manipulate that all day long. Let's go ahead and take all that cutting layer, and I'm going to group that together, make it easy to move around, and we'll just take it and say we want it right here, right? Okay, and it's on our surface, and you can adjust that however you want, or whatever item you're going to be putting out there. And some of it goes down, but this is just demonstration. So now you can always, if you wanted to do lettering in the sides of the ring, or even more on the top. Let's go back and turn on our lettering here. We want to close out Clayu right now. And then we'll go to our curves, and we'll just grab an arc direction. And we'll just change this to yellow. And I'll turn off my snaps. I don't want it snap. I want it to go straight to this plane, C-plane. And I'll click somewhere maybe around here, and then over to here, and kind of give me a little U right there, right? And now I'm going to take that curve, and I'm going to drag it up to by the top of my surface right here, right? And it doesn't look like it's perfect. I would do more manipulation there. I'd probably split it and then mirror it over. But you know, just demonstration, this is fine. And then now what I'm going to do is go to my from object again, way down here. I spent a lot of time down here. I need to move that. And then hit project this curve, enter to this surface and enter. So now I have that curve on that surface, right? It's on the surface. So I can go back in here and I can type, put more lettering, right? MatrixGold again. I can, you know, I don't know. It's a thank you staff ring, I guess. We'll go in there. There you go. Thank you, staff ring. Okay, and right away again, we want to change that to bold, and you know, something like that. And the nice thing about this is, oh, I didn't have my record history on. Maybe it won't work, but we'll try. And we can go ahead and hit enter. We'll take that, and I can select that curve. You know, maybe it's not exactly where I want it, and we can drag it up a little bit and the lettering follows, which is really cool. And maybe you can see the F's going into my wing here. We'll just kind of drag it over a little bit, or however you can kind of manipulate that curve. I'll go ahead and hit enter. You can enter. Oops. Okay, back out of that. There we go. Okay. You can select this thing and kind of adjust him a little bit, something like that. So you know, you can put stuff in here, design or letter wording or however you want, something like that. So that's kind of how you can get the, let's change this to green here, and let's change that to our lettering there. Okay. So you can get all that on there, right? Now, you know, most rings, championship rings or award rings will have cutouts on the side, right? So what I would do is I would go to my side view, and I would leave all this off for right now. And what I would do is go to my polyline curve, right? And I don't have any snaps on, so it's going to go straight to the C plane, which is cool. And I'll go from, I don't know, somewhere, well, we'll go from maybe here, hold down shift over to here, and then come down into something like this, and then bring it over something like that, right? And then again, I'll just go in and hide my items. So I'll select all this up here and turn it, hide it. Okay, so I have this. Now I'll just grab me a line curve from F4 and take it right up to the center, holding down shift, and then I'll select all that, and I will do trimming. So trim, and then I'll trim that, trim this, trim this, trim this, and trim that, and hit enter. Okay, so I have this curve, and I will mirror it. That way I know it's the same on each side. And then I will take both those, and I will join them together. And if I type in what, it will be a polyline curve, right? So let's try and change that. So let's go to our edit and fit and hit enter, and let's see what it is now. Closed NURBS curve. Okay, so that's kind of might help us out. I'm not sure. We'll find out here in a second. So we'll take this, we'll go to all our viewports, and we'll select that curve in there, and we'll drag it over so it's just barely off our ring right here. And we will go to project, back to from object, project that curve, and it'll say select surface, this surface, hit enter. Now it puts it 1, 2, and 3. It shoots it all the way across the ring, which is great because now we know this curve over here is exactly the same size as this curve, right? Which is awesome. We don't have to go back there and try and redo it or duplicate that curve and pull it off and do it all again, right? So now we have this. So what we want to do is we want to take this and we want to split with that. Which side am I on? I'm going to take this curve here and hit enter. Okay, so now we have that surface. and it's all one surface, so it's probably a NURB surface. It didn't give us two separate. It says a poly surface, but let's go ahead and try, see if it'll work for us. It's selecting as one, so we should be okay. So we'll go to our surface. We'll go to offset, and we'll offset this surface, and we will flip that, and it's a 0.4. Let's take it to 0.5 and hit enter, and enter again. Okay, so it gave us that surface, and right away we'll go and explode it, and we'll take that top surface and we'll hide that, and we'll take that surface and hide that. Okay, now it's given us two poly surfaces, which is not going to be good. Let's try match though, maybe, or merge. It's poly. It's, oh, is it trimmed or is it? Let's see. If it's trimmed, we can. It's trimmed. Okay, so you can't match surfaces with trim surface. So what I mean by that is if I try to merge these two surfaces, I shouldn't be able to. So yeah, see, it won't let me. Okay, so let's explode that. Okay, and now let's go ahead and go to my curve. And again, we want to dupe some edges. So we want to dupe those inside edges right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. Okay, and right there. Okay, and hit enter. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and click off. Now we need to take this one here, holding down shift and selecting that one, and we need to come down here, click this one and that. This, huh? Wonder why. There we go. And we'll join those together. Four curves joined two open curves, and we'll go back to our edit object, and we will fit. Okay, and hit enter here, there. So it should be one curve, and it should be maybe some kind of a NURBS curve. Open NURBS curve. So we're cool. Maybe. So we'll find out here in a second. All right, so let's go do a surface. I'm just going to do a surface 2. I don't want to have to turn off all those buttons over the side there, and we don't need it parametric. So take that, this, and this. What happened there? Okay, I'll back out of that. That's it, picking me one curve there. Is there two curves down in there? No. All right, let's try it again. Let's do a surface 2. Let's pick this one to start with. There we go. Wonder what happened. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And hit enter. Okay, there we go. And okay, so now if I type in what, it gives me a valid NURB surface, right? So we'll just hit enter. So the reason why, because if you were doing it, now we can do a auto base, right? But if this was two surfaces, it would only take half of it, right? So we want to make sure it takes the whole surface. So that's why we wanted that NURB surface, or one solid surface in there. So now I'll just go to an auto base, and I'll click on this. I'll hit enter, and then I'll select my auto base, and I will drag it up out of the way, and we'll change that to another layer, and we'll just grab another thing from our ClayU thing here, library. And we'll drag this nice little lion here and hit him, select, and we'll click out of that. We'll turn off our surfaces, and we'll hide our curves, and we'll take that surface there, right? So now we have that. Let's go into our ClayU. Let's make it a softer edges, so it's all nice and soft. And let's just go ahead and select all of it and go to our convert to NURBS. And do you want to, oh, I just won't keep it for this video, and hit yes. delete that first video and then wait for it to convert it to NURBS. And there we go. And it's on that surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all that surface. We are going to group that together so we don't have to pick each individual. Well, we're going to take all that and we are going to group. There we go. And we'll take it to our top viewport and turn on our gumball again. And we will kind of drag it up into place. And we want to hold down shift and get it to size. And let's swing it around here. Something like that, perhaps. Let's get a little straighter. Where's there it is. And drag it up into the, I'm not sure how, it looks like it's going to, well we'll try a little bit more. Kind of get it in there where you want it. That looks okay. And of course, it's a little too thick, of course, so we want to thin it down a little, and we'll drag it onto our surface a little, and we'll see how that flows. Maybe okay. All right, so let's bring back our ring and put everything else on, and we'll do, let's get our lettering back out there. Where's our lettering? Show, okay. So now let's go ahead and do a smart flow. First, we need to close out a ClayU. So we'll close out, edit mode off. So we should be okay. And those ClayU things are gone. That's how you always tell you're in ClayU. So let's go back to transform and let's do a smart flow. This is our auto base. This is our surface. This is our object. Hit enter. And it's wrong direction. So let's go ahead and hit enter. And let's take that and we will rotate. Hopefully this is the right direction. 90 degrees. Hit enter and wait for the update. Up. Figures. Take that. Flip it 180 and hit enter. Wait for the update, and there we go. So there's our line on the side, and you can adjust that, you know, however you want. And you can also do all kind of other things on the other side. I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But this side kind of shows you how. And if you wanted to, you could, you know, do it and project a line on there and do more lettering if that's what you wanted. Maybe a year, 19 or 2023, you know, May or whatever you want to put up there. The last thing I'll show is, you know, if I render this, you know, put it in render mode. Well, let's get rid of this here. We'll just turn it to gray. You know, it really looks kind of right. So we need to do a little work on this. First of all, we'll take, let's see. Yeah, there's no diamonds or anything. So we can just go ahead, select the entire ring, and we'll just change everything to green. Okay. Now we still have this surface out, right? So we want to change that one to this surface here. And is this one still out? Yeah, cool. And we change that to that one, right? And this one here, the top. So we want to maybe explode this. So we'll explode it. And we want this surface here to be this, okay? And then we'll just take all green. And we'll go ahead and group that together, whatever's left. So those will be grouped together. So we have something like this, right? Now, what you can do in your rendering to make everything pop, you know, when you do your, maybe a picture for someone, we know that the green will automatically be white gold, but you can scroll down here and you can select that layer where the indentations are at, and you can go to matte black and hit apply. And then we'll just go ahead and turn on our render, Matrix Classic, and we'll get rid of that for right now, hopefully. And now when you go to your render mode, there you go. Everything's popping for the customer, right? And they can really see how everything's going to look. But Yeah, that's kind of how I would do you know, a ward ring or something. This is really the easiest way. There are many other ways that maybe you wanted to have more control over the top here. There's other things you could do, and we'll get to that maybe in another video. So hopefully this helped, and if it did, please like, subscribe, and leave a message. Thanks for watching, and good designing.